Now at 6, 2 of the 9 suspects in a 2020 murder case are sentenced after pleading guilty. Plus, an area school is offering students part-time jobs to fill custodian positions.
A new coffee shop in Joplin is serving up a dose of kindness for the residents of Souls Harbor. I'm Kate Kelly with that story just ahead.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
2 of the 9 suspects in a 2020 murder in Lawrence County, Missouri learned their fate. This is KOIM News at 6. A judge sentenced 23-year-old Gary Hunter Jr. to 40 years in prison and 26-year-old Deanna Parks to 30 years. Both took plea deals in the murder of Sarah Pascoe. Prosecutors say in 2020, Hunter and Parks, along with 7 other suspects, kidnapped Pascoe and a second woman, drove them to a well, then shot them and left them for dead. This is that well. Pascoe was shot once in the head and died. Prosecutors say the second victim hid under Pascoe's body and pretended to be dead as Gary Hunter Jr. fired into the well. That woman survived and was able to tell investigators where they could find Pascoe's body. Checking in with Doug Heddy now for a first look at the weather.
Well, it turned out to be a pretty good Thursday for us today. Temperature is great as we went into the mid-40s during the afternoon. We've had some clouds kind of scooting through over the past couple hours, and we are going to have partly cloudy skies tonight and then again during the daytime hours for us tomorrow. Weak little cold front. You can see some light little flurries to our north. So as this weak wave passes through late tonight into tomorrow morning, we may get a few random flurries. Not a big deal. Dropping back mid to upper 30s outside, we have now northerly winds behind this weak cold front that has rolled through. So that's going to cool us down as we go through the overnight hours tonight. So we're going to drop back into lower 20s for lows. We'll slide back through the 30s into the 20s by midnight, and then a pretty cold night, low to mid 20s, and kind of chilly for us on Friday, but big changes down the road. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
See you then. 2 Southeast Kansas cities receive a share of $23 million in federal grants to increase public safety and healthcare access in the state. The Neosho Memorial Regional Medical Center will rebuild and repair 3 boiler units with a $175,000 grant. A $35,500 grant for the Neosho Police Department will fund new equipment and furniture for its new building. The department's old offices were closed in 2016 due to conditions of the building. The officers are currently housed in City Hall until the completion of the new building in a few months. Staff shortages have led to a new way for Neosho High School students to get a jump start on their resumes. The Neosho School District is rolling out a new program that will allow students to apply to become a part of their custodial staff. The students will be able to work up to 19 hours a week. David Allen, the custodial supervisor for the school district, says the shortage of custodial staff has impacted their ability to clean the schools properly.
It just makes it harder to get the schools clean and disinfected like they should be. But with this new program on hiring students, I hope to have more hands to help get our schools clean and safe.
So far, 4 students have applied to the program. The custodial team is currently 4 people short. A new coffee shop in downtown Joplin hopes to pave the way for kindness to grow off the beaten path. KOIM's Kate Kelly shares why the owner feels it's his mission to serve up more than just caffeine.
Beaten Path, just 2 doors down from Souls Harbor, is John Baker's newest venture, a coffee shop and art gallery that's piqued some interest from the neighbors.
My initial thought was they're opening something new, but there's going to be so many more people coming by and just thinking, oh no, here's a whole bunch of homeless people.
Tiffany is a mother of 4 who fled an abusive situation. She's been staying at Souls Harbor for about a month, and she's quickly become a fan of Baker's coffee and his kindness. A smile, a cup of coffee, and a listening ear goes a long way for people who may often feel overlooked.
He understands, and he is proud to be next to somewhere that is doing so much for people who may be struggling, going through something, you know. and it doesn't bother him, and he doesn't feel that it's going to affect his business none. He chose to be here.
While many people would shy away from opening a new business this close to a homeless shelter, John Baker calls it a blessing.
God sends people here to us. And every time that God has ever sent someone here to us, it has been in a way that we can help them. And that's why I know that this is our ministry. It's not like, oh, well, we could try to help them. No, it's like, here is the way to help them right here.
Baker feels a strong connection to this place and the people nearby. He himself experienced homelessness when he was younger, but admits he had forgotten how difficult it was. Countless cups of coffee and conversation has brought back his sense of empathy.
When I came back and started reconnecting or connecting with these people, it reconnected me with that root of who I was. And I was like, man, it was so easy for me to get there. It's just that easy for someone else to get there over a couple of bad decisions and a bad month.
You got to know everybody's story. Not everybody's homeless by choice. I mean, your whole life, I had everything going for me. House, car, everything. And just because of a bad relationship, it was all ripped away with nowhere to go all at once.
Baker says there's no other place he'd want his business to be and challenges others to practice kindness.
Who's to say that this isn't a hub of happiness? That if you start it here, it will spread across this town like a good virus, you know, and spread happiness, which, let's be honest, we could all use a good dose of smile right now.
In Joplin, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
Wow, Baker says he's hired several of the residents of Souls Harbor to help out with projects at the shop and calls them some of the hardest workers he's ever seen. He hopes to continue collaborating with his neighbors to provide more opportunities for families and individuals needing a hand up to get their feet back on the ground. Coming up, how the Missouri governor's proposed state budget would impact funding for Missouri Southern. Plus, a Southwest Missouri state park is named the most visited park in the state. Missouri Governor Mike Parson is calling for increased funding for higher education in the proposed state budget for next fiscal year. Some of that increased funding would go to Missouri Southern if the budget's passed. One impact would be a $1.4 million increase for the school's core budget. Bigger than that, it would also give the university $30 million for a health science innovation building.
Yeah, I think our campus community is very pleased and hopeful based on the governor's recommendations, both for the core budget increase and the one-time funds, including for capital. So people are excited, but I think we also understand it's just the first step in the budget development process for next year.
The budget would also provide more than $700,000 for a proposed Center for Digital Media and Virtual Production. For the second year in a row, Roaring River State Park in Cassville was the most visited state park in Missouri. Reporter Madison Horner has more on what's driving visitors there and the park's economic impact on local businesses.
In 2021, 1.9 million people visited Roaring River State Park. Park officials say that's a 30% increase from 2020, and they hope to see the momentum continue this year. Park manager Joel Topham says tradition plays a huge role in the amount of visitors the park sees each year. And as new guests come into the area, improvements are being made to enhance their experience. Many roadways will have new asphalt put down, and the park is redoing 32 sites in Campground 3. Roaring River Resort and RV park owner Donald Craig says the park has a huge impact on Cassville's business and revenue.
Without Roaring River, we probably wouldn't have a business. 1.9 million people were here last year. Obviously, a lot of them come here to fish, and then they end up staying with us as a result.
That is a huge jump of people, and it is a lot of them are new campers. A lot of them are thrill seekers, hikers, people wanting to get out into the outdoors.
Topham says the park is already booked for the opening day of trout season on March 1st, an event that brings in thousands of visitors each year.
A little later, we're going to hear from the Missouri Southern basketball teams after they swept Rogers State last night.
Plus, a cold night for us tonight. We're going to look into the weekend in our next system coming up next. Well, it turned out to be a great Thursday for us today. Temperature is fantastic as we went into the mid-40s for highs. A weak little cold front has slid through, so this is going to cool us down a little bit tonight and on Friday. It's still not going to be bad. and then we warm right back up as we head into the weekend. We are watching our next storm system. This is going to roll in on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week, but at least decent shots for wintry weather. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Temps are cooling back into the mid to upper 30s right now. We did go into the mid 40s for highs. We had southerly winds that helped us warm up. Then a weak cold front slid through. So that's why we have northerly winds, and that will cool us back down as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Currently outside, 37 north winds at about 10, humidities at 59% through the evening. Slide back through the 30s into the 20s by midnight. Then most of us will bottom out 23, 24 degrees for an overnight low. So it's going to be cold. It's not cold, it's just cold. And then we'll start to warm up by the weekend. Few clouds kind of skirting through. We have a weak wave to our north. So we are going to have some clouds tonight into tomorrow, at least the first half of the day. And you can even see some light flurries up across Nebraska and parts of Iowa. So we can't rule out a random flurry or two as we go into tomorrow morning. All right, for us tonight, dropping into lower 20s. Cold start. We'll start to warm things back up near mid-30s by noon. And I think most of us will top out right around 40 for a high tomorrow. Here's your day planner. At least it's Friday, 26. Early in the morning, 36 by noon. A little bit more sunshine during the afternoon. High temp of 40. Northerly winds are going to be light at 5 to 10. Clear skies tomorrow night. Still back into the mid-20s. So another cold night tomorrow night. And then as we go into Saturday, we start to warm up. We go well into the 50s for highs by Saturday afternoon. We're going to go well into the 50s for highs again on Sunday. So if you are traveling north up I-49, Arrowhead Stadium, 2 o'clock, kickoff temp, probably 46, 47 degrees, a little bit warmer than what it was this past Sunday. Monday, we go into the 60s during the afternoon. Then our next storm system starts to roll in. Showers, maybe even some thunderstorms develop on Tuesday. Arctic front drops in, our fourth one we've had this winter season. With the Arctic air, we'll go from rain to freezing rain, eventually to sleet. We may get a decent amount of ice, so we got to watch that by next week, and then eventually over to some snow, but also Arctic air, so it's going to cool down quite a bit. Once the system works out of here, by Thursday, you can see our temperatures down into the single digits, so it's going to be really cold by the time we head into the middle part of next week. But that's our system we want to watch by next week. All right, 40 for us tomorrow, 54 Saturday, 53 on Sunday, but up to 64 by Monday. Then those rain chances increase on Tuesday. Freezing rain, sleet, and snow will drop into the 20s on Wednesday, down to 10 Wednesday night. High of only 20 on Thursday, so big switch by next week. At least through Monday, or really Tuesday, though. Beautiful weather, and I especially like the fact that Arrowhead on Sunday is going to be nice. It means we're going to have another classic, well-played game. Let's hope so. Another Chiefs win. No rain, not very windy. Perfect. No, as long as the Chiefs come out on top. Exactly. Coming up in sports, Pitt State hits the floor tonight against Northeastern State, and the Missouri Southern Lions sweep a doubleheader from Rogers State. Jacob Leonard has post-game reaction from both games after the break.
Pittsburgh State Gorillas are back on the floor tonight for a home doubleheader against Northeastern State. On the women's side, the Gorillas aim to sweep the season series over the Riverhawks after beating them in Tahlequah back in December. Pitt State enters the day 6-6 overall, 6-6 in the MIAA, rather 11-7 overall. That game actually already started in Pittsburgh. We'll have highlights and post-game reaction right here tonight at 10. We'll also have highlights from this one. Pitt State men face the Riverhawks after the women's game wraps up. The Gorillas try to snap a 5-game losing streak and split the season series with NSU. That game will tip off around 7:30. Missouri Southern Lions swept a doubleheader from Rogers State last night. On the women's side, after a slow start, the Lions pulled away for a 73-56 win. Now that win is the 6th straight win for the Lions, puts them at 10-3 in the MIAA. Maddie Stokes scored a team-high 16 points to go along with 7 rebounds. Lacey Stokes filled the stat sheet with 13 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds. Southern, like I said, 10-3 in the MIAA and still just 1 game back of first place.
We got to make sure we just take that next step and not look too far down the road of things that possibly could happen. So we just got to make sure we stay in the present, make sure we're focused on the next opponent. And we didn't start out that way, but midway through the first quarter, I thought our kids did a great job on both ends of the floor all the way through till halftime of getting back into Missouri Southern basketball.
In the men's game, the Lions rolled by the Hillcats 84-63. Stan Scott came up with a big double-double, finishing with 18 points, 15 rebounds. Avery Taggart, high scorer for Southern, finishing with 19, while Lawson Jenkins and Winston Desiso also in double figures. As a team, the Lions out-rebounded Rogers State 36-18, including 9 offensive boards.
I thought we played with a motor. That was the biggest thing. We played hard on both ends of the floor. We shared the basketball on the offensive end and defensively. We played. I felt like we played harder than them, and that was kind of the story of the game. And give our guys a lot of credit. I thought they played together. I thought they competed, played tough. I thought they played loose. Just not putting any pressure on ourselves. Just going out and playing, having fun.
Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger announces his retirement from the NFL today. And Roethlisberger played 18 seasons in the league, all for Pittsburgh, after being a first-round pick in 2004. Big Ben finishes his career as a 2-time Super Bowl champ and a 6-time Pro Bowler. He's 5th all-time in passing yards, 5th all-time in wins as a quarterback, and 7th all-time in passing touchdowns. Roethlisberger won 67% of his games as a starter, the 6th best mark in NFL history. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. Bryson Minor joined the U.S. Army in 2012. His hometown, Joplin. And we salute Specialist Bryson Minor, a 4-state hero. After the Chiefs' big overtime playoff win last weekend, Chiefs fans wanted to show their respect to Josh Allen, the quarterback for Buffalo in the city of Buffalo, and they did it $13 at a time. Reporter Abby Dodge has more.
Fans walked out of Arrowhead Sunday night with renewed passion for their hometown team. Even after their playoff chances were crushed, Bills fans were gracious.
We love Kansas City no matter what. Thank you so much for having us.
Now Chiefs Kingdom is returning the favor, 13-fold.
Regardless of who won, it needed to be celebrated somehow. So in a way, it's like Chiefs fans being able to celebrate that 13-second comeback while also, giving due respect and honor to Josh Allen, the Bills, and of course, Bills Mafia.
Brett Fitzgerald runs a Chiefs meme group on Facebook. He picked up on a suggestion from a Bills fan and created this meme. It's the driving factor behind donations to the Children's Hospital in Buffalo.
It's unprecedented what's happening. I can't believe it. I seriously can't believe.
The hospital on the receiving end of those donations is at a loss for words, too.
I want the community of Kansas City to know that what they've done is really impactful to us and that we're truly thankful for it.
The Patricia Allen Foundation supports services at the John R. Oshai Children's Hospital, services many families in the area wouldn't be able to afford without Josh Allen's charity. Employees know what the more than $222,000 in donations can do.
Everybody is talking about it. Anywhere you go in a hospital right now, people are saying, did you see what was on the news? Did you see the Facebook?
To see this was just words can't describe. I mean, it's just truly phenomenal how generous everybody's being. And
more than 12,000 people have donated so far, all hoping to throw a little kindness their way.
Last report, more than $300,000.
That's going to keep going up with all these stores.
I'm sure it will.
All right, cold tonight, a little bit chilly tomorrow, 40, but look at the 50s returning by the weekend.
Hey, before we go, Jenny, can you punch up a shot of the control room? There we go, and wave for us. I don't know, make shadow puppets. Can you do that? Very good. You cannot catch this woman off guard. Jenny Schaefer there making the excellent shadow puppets is also our superb technical director. Now, I would explain to you what a technical director does if I had about an hour and I fully understood it, but suffice it to say, she makes everything go smoothly on these shows. If they do not, it is generally my fault. This is her last 6 o'clock production with us, but she will be back here tomorrow at 10. We're going to miss you, Jenny, as you seek new challenges. We wish you well. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here at 10. Let's make it a great evening.
Salon service is provided